the therapist took the other person's side. I felt that it would watch. Or to what you want.
You actually never gamba, you're the problem.
I said no.
Good is good. But you guys, therapists here to be telling people's business.
They be telling people's business, one, but you know, many of the ones that people who claim to be therapists in Kampala, they are not qualified.
We have all these buzzwords that now like people have started using because of like mental health and stuff like that, and men's mental health.
Men's mental health is a myth. Like we can all be toxic. We all have our levels and layers of toxicity. But I'm the one that's in therapy, not the other person. Like there's this saying that we go to therapy for the other people that are not in therapy. Like in our in our interpersonal relationships, right? Welcome to another episode of She Knows Best. It's not therapy, but it might help. My name is Liz.
And I'm Afsa.
And today's episode is actually about therapy and mental health. Mental health is something that I've been working on very actively for the past decade. Through my own lived experience, with mental health. It's something I've spoken about on my socials. I've done work around the world in mental health. So we thought it was important for us to discuss it today.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the Kampala and the world that we're living in, I think mental health is a very, very, very needed something to talk about. Yeah.
So today's episode, like we said, mental health and the silent crisis in Uganda. As some of you may have seen a couple of months ago, there was a headline in the New Vision that said 14 million Ugandans are experiencing a mental health condition. And in those statistics, it showed that same study showed that less than 1% are receiving treatment, and these are very, alarming statistics. I mean, it kind of makes sense if you do the comparison of 1 in 4 people, according to World Health Organization,
have a mental health
issue. And the 14 million is an estimate. But given the context in which we operate,
I think it's much more.
I also think it's much higher. Yeah.
I think it's definitely much higher. I think maybe that's even 14 million that are like maybe diagnosed or even almost diagnosed. But imagine the ones that are just moving around because...
missed by the system. Yeah.
The system and also just who we are. Like, it's just, we don't test for mental health. We don't go to the hospital to check on each other. We don't, like, it's not something that we take seriously, like as a condition, as a medical condition.
We still have a lot of work to do. So like I was saying, so just to share some of the statistics around mental health in Uganda. So 14 million people are experiencing a mental health condition with less than 1% receiving treatment. In Uganda, we have about fewer than 50 psychiatrists. So that's about a ratio of, if we're 45 million
fewer
people.
Than 50 in the whole country.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah. So the ratio is like about one psychiatrist for every 1 million people, which just doesn't make sense. Yeah.
There's no way it makes sense.
Yeah, it's bad. Like,
okay, that makes sense why they cost as much as they do.
Yeah, our things are bad.
What?
Yeah. Our suicide rate is 7.2 per 100,000.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it's usually higher for men. I would have to get the exact figures for men, but like suicide is the suicide rate, but it's a global thing.
I think globally
higher
for
men, than women. But another one of the contributors to our poor mental health is youth unemployment. Our youth unemployment rate is approximately 13%. So youth unemployment coupled with poverty as a mental stressor, or as a determinant for for health or mental health in this case. So that's at about 13%. And then mental health spending from the government is less than 1% of the national health budget. So with already our with our very small budget for healthcare, spending for mental health, if I remember correctly, is about 0.05% or thereabout. The other issues that we'll delve into in this episode, things like stigma, cultural silence,
religion,
different taboos around mental health in Uganda, and things like that. But we'll also just want to discuss mental health, from a very personal, in a very approachable way, in a very relatable manner. I mean, there's so much information, there's so many studies out there around mental health, especially in Uganda as well, that we're really starting to look into it. We're starting to study it more than we're starting to invest in the actual solutions around community mental health. But in this episode, we just want to address or discuss mental health in a very relatable way, from a very social perspective, from our own experiences, from those around us, and from what we've observed in in our society, in our city, in our social circles and stuff like that. We won't name names. Don't worry, we're not going to say your things in this episode. In case you thought our friends,
if that show fits, might not be you.
Yeah. But that's not that's not the goal.
But it's not judgment. There's no judgment behind it, because we all have our
everyone's struggling with something.
Yeah, we all have something.
Everyone's struggling with something. And something that most people don't know, though, is that mental health is a spectrum. So I think when we talk about mental health, people think about, people are going to say I'm mad, or I've been diagnosed with depression or whatever. But every human being is on a spectrum with their mental health. So from positive to negative, from good mental health to bad mental health. And on any given day, any one of us, as long as you have an organ called the brain, the same way you have a heart,
fall on the others.
Yeah, the same way you have a heart, the same way you have a liver, you can fall anywhere on that spectrum on any given day. On any given day, at any given point in your life, depending on what the stressors are, depending on what you may be experiencing. So at the end of the day, that's why as mental health advocates and people in the community, we keep saying we all have mental health.
Yeah,
because you have a brain.
Yeah, and that brain can be healthy. It can be when it's not healthy. I think that's the most important thing, is to just understand the mental health part of it, which I think, first of all, Liz has just given you all her credentials, and she has just showed you that she speaks from facts. She didn't just talk just for her. But I think it's also very important to just realize the brain part, or like the mental health part. Like, it's brain health. Like, is your brain healthy? Is it not healthy? So the first stigma that I would like for us to just maybe do away with, and just think about it, and I know it's not an easy thing to do, because it's the way we've been wired, it's the way we've been brought up, it's the way that's the way we've talked about mental health for the longest time, is to make it seem like it's just a feeling.
Yeah.
It's never just a feeling. It's not just that because you're sad or because you're this. Again, it's like brain chemicals. It's the same way if you go to hospital for that's why there are doctors that study mental health, because they need to know what medicine to give you, how to balance. Is it things like hormones, what things like that? So I think that's the first thing that we need to adjust our brain to.
Yeah,
is that it is mental health. It is an organ that is sick. Your brain is sick, which means you're depressed, you're this, you're all those things. So if we can start from there, then I think we can work down all the other stigmas, all the other, we can now have a proper conversation about it.
Yeah. And but also just to add to that, also I like to say, when I'm discussing this topic, yes, there's mental health, but I also like to use the word well-being, because or saying mental well-being, and I think we need to look at it from that perspective, or with that approach as well, because yes, there's the physiology, the biology, all the stuff that's going on in the brain, that contributes to good could contribute to good mental health or bad mental health, but just general and overall well-being that contributes to that, or that's like a determinant of
where you are,
where you're at, or even where your feelings are at.
Yes,
because feelings are not tangible, right? But they're a real contributor to your mental
well-being and your mental health.
Yeah,
true.
So and that's why we keep saying feelings are valid.
100%.
They may not always be correct, or they may not always be
but they are valid. Also, they might be valid for you and not valid for
other
so
people.
Your feelings are 100% always valid.
Yeah.
So mental well-being and mental health. So mental well-being is how are you feeling, how are you doing, and stuff like that. Because and you're right, because I think maybe if you're sad, it could lead to depression.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what you're saying. Of
like prolonged sadness.
Prolonged sadness. Sort of like
Yeah.
if maybe you're grieving and then like it's prolonged sadness and whatever.
Yeah.
And then that leads to depression.
Yeah.
Or maybe you lose someone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So like well-being, mental well-being as a whole is a subject that would like to touch on today. And to be fair, mental health is having a moment. I looking back, like I started doing like this mental health work like in 2016. You remember?
I remember.
And like people like the conversation around mental health was barely there. Like how dare you say? Like how dare you
can't come and say these things out in public. Like why are you telling us? Why are you telling people your problems?
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't tell people things like you shouldn't say things like that.
Yeah.
People might talk about you or like how do you come off? How do you look?
Yeah.
People won't take you seriously.
Yeah. Like saying I've been diagnosed with depression, or even now people people openly discuss and say they've been diagnosed with like bipolar or they're autistic and things like that. And like just 10 years ago, like 10 years seems like a long time, but it's also a short time. Like people couldn't have these conversations.
Yeah. I think, first of all, like, I'm glad now we've gotten there, because I think that, like, it's a good thing that mental health is now something that, like, people can talk about, like, it's something that's out there. Like, I love it. But I think, like, there is always, like, also the negative side of it, because I feel like it's become also, like, a manipulation tactic.
Exactly.
Like, we have all these buzzwords that now, like, people have started using because of, like, mental health and stuff like that. So you have that thing where it's like people are using these things and these conditions and these conversations as like weapons, instead of
weaponizing.
Weaponizing. You get all these things.
Yeah, so like it's people use them. I have another friend of ours, you know her, and her mom. So that friend of mine is a therapist. So when me and her together, she's like one of my best friends. Like we've been friends from when we were kids. So her mom likes looking at us and saying, "But when will you guys stop excusing people's bad manners?" That's what she says. Like when she says you guys have an excuse for everything.
Because you guys are always justifying. You're like, no, but she's this. Oh no, but she's going through this. Oh, but like this. Like her mental health is like this.
And she's like, well, let's stop. Even the murderer will tell us. But the truth is, even murderers, many of them, that's why, like,
started and does a moon.
No, but the thing is, that's why like the criminal justice system in some countries has like correctional so they have like correctional facilities and like what do they call them, the other facilities where they just incarcerated you as in you're a bad person, you're guilty of murder or whatever. But like
correctional where they like
some,
work with you. I mean, I get it, you guys, but you guys,
I know, but like
I get what you're saying, but it's
like a double-edged sword, this whole mental health thing. But like it's really important that we talk about it and we like have open conversations, but also like dissect it and like unpack it and like get to try and better understand it as a whole.
Okay, to start, since we have started the conversation, what is, like, tell me like one of your wildest therapy experiences. Like something that you'd be like, maybe almost put you off therapy, or something you're like, man, like I sat in that lady's chair, she told me this, and I realized I was the problem.
No, all my therapy sessions. So the funny thing is I've been going to therapy since I was like 16.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So like the good thing is like I come from a family, like my at the time my mom could recognize that I was dealing, like my mental health was not okay. So I've been doing like therapy since I was 16. But that's on and off, because over the years I've changed therapists, all of us, and then you go on a break and like...
You think you're like, no, I'm kawa.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing fine.
But sometimes this therapist chases you away, because me, sometimes...
Even you bitches, I know someone else was fired by a therapist.
Me, the therapist fired me. They chase me, but you know why they chase me? Because they can't, now that sometimes they ask me, they say, but you know their things. Now why are you here? But then like you're better. And but then they're like, now for you know the things. And the funny thing is I'm not even a therapist. I'm not like, I didn't study psychology, nothing. I'm just like... super passionate about mental health, and I've like studied stuff in health. But for me, they chase me. But one therapy experience, I had this therapist once, and we were navigating some situations. So I was asked to bring the other person in that dynamic that I was dealing with. Now, my challenge was also with that dynamic was like to put it like very plainly without giving away too much information, is like there was a power imbalance in that person. And that's what I was trying to work through with my therapist. So my therapist also wanted to understand
the other person,
that imbalance in the relationship. The therapist took the other person's side. I felt that he go watch. You're
the problem.
I said no.
Good.
I felt cheated. I want to tell her, you're my therapist.
You're supposed to be on my side.
You're supposed to be on my side.
You're my therapist.
You're my therapist. You're not the other person's therapist. You're my therapist.
But did you understand what she was saying?
No, but now she's the one who, because when I went back late for like 2 more sessions, then I quit. Then I checked as my therapist, because I felt like you're not understanding. Like already, I feel like no one gets what I'm dealing with. Now you're also taking
the other person's
side. Like I know we can all be toxic. We all have our levels and layers of toxicity. But I'm the one that's in therapy, not the other person. Like there's this saying that we go to therapy for the other people that are not in therapy, like in our in our interpersonal relationships, right? So that person, if they're not doing their therapy, I'm doing my therapy with you. You're supposed to help me understand.
But now you're there,
and maneuver and
navigate. The other person feel
but
better.
Now all you've done in this session is side with the other person. Like
it doesn't make sense.
I told her. Then she's like, no. So she tried to get me back she tried to get me to like work it out with her. But then I was like,
you don't trust them anymore.
Yeah.
I think therapy is like dating.
Yeah,
I think
you have to date.
Yeah, you have to date around your therapist. I remember like the first therapist, the first therapy I went to. I mean, it was. I think I was grieving. I was grieving hard, and I was like, I could tell, like I could see myself slip into a depression. So I remember I called the first therapist. I think it was a white lady. So we went, and the truth is, like, during like
me that one was a white lady.
During that, it might be even be, since they are 50 here in Uganda, it might be the same one. So now, so I went to see this white lady, and the truth is, like, during the time, like where I was there specifically for the grieving, like it helped a lot. Like she really like walked me through it and stuff like that, and it really like helped me, like even just get up, because at some point, like I just couldn't move. Like she helped me move from that. Then we continue. So of course, like when you start like the therapy, like you continue like all like, of course, this grieving like brings up all these other issues and stuff like that. Then now we reach to family dynamics. This woman went and told me to cut off my family. I said, she told me, imagine. I said, me? To tell my mother, you people are toxic. I'm not dealing with you anymore. I said,
where are you going to leave your 10 brothers and sisters alone?
I said, which one am I cutting off?
Which one?
She was like, maybe like just like thinking like pull away for like a while to like heal, and then you can. I said, please.
But that didn't make any sense, because that grief was like you are.
I'm grieving with all of them. You get like, because like you, and everyone has a different way to grieve, which like I understand. Like, of course, like now everyone is fighting their fight. But I said, you guys, how do you tell an African woman to go away from the family? Like, what is this? Just after that, I said, oh, okay. The next one, like I think I saw her for like maybe like another 2 weeks or so. That I was like, you know what? I went and found myself a black woman. I said, let me go to this. The other one even told me, she like, where are the others? Please bring them here. Let's talk together. Yeah. You get. So I think it's like dating, because like you have to like go around, because like some people will have what you're looking for, others won't. Yeah. I think even at some point I realized maybe like some therapists are good for like certain things that you're willing to like, that you'd want to work through and stuff. Now like if I was like proper like in a depression and stuff like that, I don't think she'd be the person. But like for like that grieving situation, like but I think also she had also just lost someone. Yeah. So it felt like, she gets like everything I would tell her, it would feel like, I get it. Like, you're not crazy for feeling that, for thinking that, for doing that. Mm-hmm. So
it's the same therapist. Now that you said she just lost someone, it's the same one. Yeah.
Anyway,
but like the thing is, therapy needs to be like context relevant, right? Like your therapist needs to understand the context in which you. Like in the context the context that you live, the context that the situation that you're dealing with. For example, like now, like because I'm also dealing with grief now, there's like people who are trained specifically in like grief therapy.
Yes. Actually,
right?
I think that would be
Yeah.
great if we could have that. But now we have 50. You
No,
have
those
to
are
take one. Psychiatrists and therapists are different.
Yeah, so psychiatrists are the doctor.
Like
they
the one who
go to
gives you medicine.
Yeah, like you go to
And then the
school.
therapists, what do they do?
Therapists usually study like psychology or things related to psychology,
so
like
for them-
counseling psychology, clinical psychology, and then they have like a therapy practice. And also like that's a funny thing, like even in the, not everyone who has studied psychology can qualify as a therapist.
And
yeah.
therapists can never qualify as like
No,
psychologist.
but a therapist needs to be a psychologist.
Oh, so they
Yeah.
come from psychology
Yeah.
and then they major in therapy.
So they learn different so they're like universally, like there are different techniques to therapy. So there's like cognitive behavioral therapy.
So you go and like
you major, and then I think in some countries they're even asked to take another very specific qualification that allows them to now see people as therapists. And that like goes into like that segues into another part of this conversation about like therapy. Like, is your like the therapist in Kampala? Eh?
First of all, you guys, me. Again, like you said, like we've said, guys, that's your therapist. Like, go like first. Like, you know, like how they say when you go into a meeting, like an interview, like, yeah, they might be interviewing them, but also you interview them. I feel like even that, you have to do that for therapists.
Yeah.
Because now this has never happened to me, because, guys, to know me and my life is to know the way that I value my privacy is crazy. So even the therapists that I've gone to, it's like the people that I trust with my utmost thingy, and the people that know me. So even the therapists they'll recommend to are people who they know. Like, yeah, like this one will, like, they'll get her. But you guys, therapists here be telling people's business.
They be telling people's business, one, but many of the ones that people who claim to be therapists in Kampala,
not trained.
They are not qualified.
I know a few.
So there are people who are purporting to be therapists and they're not qualified. Like they're not qualified. Thanks. Because
That's
for example,
very,
when you go to
dangerous.
someone, like, and there's so many layers to this issue. There's so many unqualified therapists. One, because of like the rise of this whole mental health discourse.
Because people are seeing it as like a cash grab thing of like, I want to be like, I'm a mental health expert.
Yeah.
I want to talk about mental health.
Yeah.
But then like, what qualifies you to be able to do that?
Exactly. Yeah. So like, and yet I feel like people should just be very honest. Because for example, in the mental health space, there's space for psychiatrists, there's space for therapists and like people doing the training. There's people like me who are called lived experience experts.
Yeah.
So like you do trainings and courses, but your advocacy or the work that you're doing is from the perspective
of a
lived experience of like a user of services of mental health.
So there's also a certain, you also have like a limit of how far you can go.
Like from the very beginning,
like,
I'm not a therapist.
Like you can't
start
a practice to start now talking to people.
No,
but those are bad manners. What?
Yeah, so there are people who are purporting to be therapists who are not therapists. They have no training, they have no qualifications, and they're taking your money.
They're
like
taking people's
snake
money.
Oil salesmen, yeah.
Did I snake oil salesman?
Like it's like, yeah.
Great. That's wild. I knew about the therapists that tell people's business, because like I know like at least 3 people who have found their business in the streets
because of therapy.
Because
I've
of
also heard
therapists.
of that one.
So I'm like, there must be like a law against that, right? Like there must be like a code against that. But then also the thing is, also the other thing for me, like I can never, if I be in the streets with you, like I see you, if I go to Alchemist and you're there, you're seated across from me, you can never be my therapist.
Yeah, because now like my business is
you get it's,
I don't want to say my business is in the streets, but like
it's just
even that
like I don't want that. Like that boundary, veil has been it's a veil. Yeah, exactly. But great, that's the what?
Yeah. So there are very many.
Anyway, so I think also that's another thing. Okay, so just to think it, to be a therapist, you need to also be a psychologist, a psychiatrist, psychologist.
No, a psychologist. So to be a therapist, you need to go to you get a degree. When you go to school, you can study a degree
in psychology.
You can study a degree in psychology. Although there are people who study, it has to be psychology. I think it's called. there's psychology, and then there are people who only study like counseling psychology or something like that. So if you study psychology, there's a broad spectrum of like work that you can do, like not therapy.
Yes.
So you can work like in HR, like in like major in,
So
like
basically
organizational,
people
like stuff like that.
People facing jobs and stuff like that.
So there's many now, like it's 2025, there's so many career options, like if you do psychology. But then to be able to see patients, and now this is like my therapist friend who was also telling me, like, you even have to go to there in some countries, you even need to have like a master's in psychology to be able to start seeing patients or start seeing patients unsupervised, because you don't yet have like the full spectrum of experience, or you don't you don't have that qualification. But now, like here, people, instead of saying like, and now they also learned the word coaches anyway, but because coaching is also another thing,
Yes, don't go to coaches.
And also the thing is, even coaches need to go through like certain certifications and people don't know that, like coaches have certifications.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, because a lot of these people, first of all, again, are from lived experiences. Like, people are coaching you from lived experience. You're going to find someone is coaching you. You don't know their experience. You don't know what kind of privilege they're coming from. You don't know what kind of life experience they're coming from. They're coaching you your life. You have your problems. They cannot relate to those problems. How are they going to help you navigate those problems? Like, it's just, I think we also just need, again, I think it's because of like that's what I was saying about like mental health being something that people can discuss and like being open about and like are more open to, is also has like a bad side to it, because then it leaves people vulnerable to such things.
To such
because
cons and scams.
Cons and scams. Like, it's just so wild for that.
Yeah, like for me, it's like, man, it was so crazy to coming to that realization that like there's so many people purporting to be therapists or counselors when they don't have the qualifications, even if it's someone. So now there's also a difference between like a clinical therapists or clinical psychologists and counselors. But even counselors have to go through training.
So everyone needs to be trained.
Because what business
start asking for certificates.
Yeah, but that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. Like,
start asking for qualifications. I want to move maybe popular. Like, just what are your qualifications?
That's what you're supposed to do. Because if you're looking for a new therapist or a coach or whatever, you're supposed to have what's called like it's considered like an interview or like whatever. So you're supposed to have like a session with them, or like an intro session with them, and you're also
you're the one asking the questions.
Yeah, like you're asking the questions, and they're also kind of supposed. They're supposed to, I think, show you like share their certification, their qualifications and certifications. It's like the same way when you go to a doctor's office.
Yes,
they have.
That's what I was saying. They have all their things
certificates up there. So now you, as a psychologist, why aren't you showing people you're actually supposed to show your patients? Like, for me to give me confidence that you're the healthcare provider. After, even when you go to a hospital, did you know that someone in a hospital setting can't touch you if you, for example, ask them like for their name, like what's your name, and they are mandated to give you their
actual name. Yeah, because you need to know who is working on you. Like, that's your life.
So like, guys, it's the same.
Be careful.
Yeah,
it's wild.
But so we need to be alert. Like, there are people who are like trying to like milk the situation, like about like mental health and stuff like that. But then even as like as users of those services, we need to be like hyper vigilant. Like, we need to be vigilant about like doing the due diligence
on who you're talking to.
Yeah. Not everyone can be your therapist, because also like with therapists, there's like, or counselors, there's for example faith-based counseling.
Yes, of course. Like,
and now for you, if that's not your jam,
yeah. So if someone is like feeling, like, let me say I'm feeling weird. Let me say I wake up today and maybe I'm super sad, and I'm like, this is not normal sadness. Like, maybe you get, like, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to talk to someone. You get how, like, who would be the first person you recommend that person to go to? Because it's not like, will I just go to Nakasera and be like, I'm not feeling kawa, I feel weird, I need to see someone, and then they recommend, okay, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists. Like, what would be sort of like the first step to take? Because like me, like with like the grieving thing, I knew like it was because of grief. Like, I was very conscious of the fact that like this is happening because I'm grieving. So it was easy for me to be like, okay, I think who I need to talk to is a therapist, right? Yeah. But like, because again, people who don't know, like, they don't know what to do, how to do it. Like, how would you say, like, where would be like the first step for help?
Yeah, like the thing that the challenge that we have, like generally with our system as a country, or like even healthcare system, is we don't have like emergency contacts, like,
yes,
like that emergency contact, because like in other places in many countries, like you can call a number
and then the person
and
even
talk
talks
to someone, like, so it's called like crisis counsel, like it's like a counseling hotline or crisis counseling hotline. They're usually like funded by like the non-profit sector or whatever. So but ideally what they're supposed to do is, if you're in like a very like experiencing a crisis, talk you down, like help you understand, like and also those people at the other end of the phone also go through training.
Everyone needs to be trained, guys.
So like they don't just jazz like four.
Yeah.
So they also go through training, and like they talk to you to help you understand your feelings. If you're feeling, you know, like you want to analyze yourself, talk you down, and then help work with you and direct you to where you need to go. So like in more developed places where they have a better healthcare system, of course there are steps to
but now here katewa fail no.
You know, the problem that we have in Africa, and I wanted us to get to that at some point, is we need to also rethink how we address mental health on the continent. So because we don't have the systems and the structures, we don't have a healthcare system, what are we going to do? So we need to rely on like community.
Yeah.
So in that instance, that's why we say, okay, like talk to a friend first, or a family
like
member.
talk to someone.
So, because so that you understand, what am I feeling? What am I going through today? Like, is it, you know, okay, for your instance, you knew it was grief, but like to help you understand, like, what's the pattern of this issue that I'm experiencing, right? Because even if you decide to go to the hospital, the psychiatrists are not there, the therapists are not there.
So by the way, you might as well go, you know,
you may go and they tell you musujja. Which may be which may save your life, by the way.
But you never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
Because
but I get what you're saying. So community, which makes sense, to be fair, because like you said, like there's no one else to call. So it makes sense for me to call Liz and be like, bruh, this is how I'm feeling today.
Yeah,
like
maybe one of your friends has
will
the magazine for that
understand.
day.
Yes, yeah.
But ideally, that's like what you should do, because like our healthcare system isn't going to provide you the quick answer that you need.
Yeah.
But some I'm seeing some hotlines popping up. Like I think there's an organization.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, I think there's an organization I've been seeing called Mental Health Uganda.
If we get it, we'll put it on.
We'll put it
at
down.
the end.
To be honest, we have to check them out, because I hate giving people information, wrong things, and like information I've not vetted
do that due
or
diligence.
whatever. Yeah. But I'm seeing some of these hotlines popping up. Like I'm sure if you search like on social media, like
you can find some.
If you search like Mental Health Uganda, there are some people who offer like lists of like
I've seen that list of like psychologists, therapists.
I know Flavia does that.
Yes.
She has them on her page as well.
Oh,
I've had them on my
nice.
page as well in the past, but it's not been updated in a very long time. So there's like organizations that can guide you in that direction. Strong Minds, I think, as well. They can guide you on where to go. If you feel into your woody that only will be nyo, go to Butabika Hospital.
By the way, and also, please, let's like, I think that's something that we really, really need to like do. Like, let's remove that stigma from Butabika Hospital. Like, it's funny, and I'm laughing, but I really shouldn't be laughing because it's an actual hospital
and it's a really
good hospital, guys. Like, I know people who have actually gone through like have even been like proper. What's the word? Proper diagnosed, with like ADHD and things like
and
that.
And they even give free
at Butabika, they give it's free. I didn't know it was free.
I think most of the medicine is free, or supposed to be free. Yeah.
So like that's the thing. Like, and it is like it's a mental health hospital. Like, go to Butabika and be like, guys, me, I haven't left my house in 5 days. I'm crying every day. I don't know why I'm crying. What's happening?
And they'll point you in the direction.
Yeah, and they'll
for assistance.
That's actually real. Actually, I think that's probably even like, especially if like, again, because of the stigma around mental health and stuff like that, you don't want to call a friend. They're going to tell you. Someone may tell you about why you sad. You have everything in your life. Like, because it's sometimes easier to talk to strangers than it is to talk to like people that know you.
Yeah.
And that's okay also.
Yeah.
So I think Butabika is a very good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
You go to Butabika Hospital these days. Every hospital, depending on which hospital that you go to, now has
a
like
mental health ward.
Yeah, has a health worker that's like dedicated to mental health, either psychiatrist or like a psychologist, or they'll point you to the right direction. But these days, but the challenge is still, because like I said, share the statistics. We have less than 50 psychiatrists in the country. So the same one you find in Nakasero is the same one you find
even
in
if we said one per district. there wouldn't be enough.
Yeah, so they keep jumping from place to place. So if you are in an emergency, don't count on them. But count on Butabika. But if you can if you have time for appointments, whatever, then you go to like your usual hospital and they'll find you someone. Like either a psychologist or a psychiatrist. But then also the problem that we have is also like with the internet is people diagnosing themselves. So someone goes to the doctor and says, "Me, I have depression." Who told you?
But
you guys, that's not what you have.
You know what the one people love these days is ADHD. And
everyone.
Oh my God, I have the ADHD.
By the way, which is valid because kind of valid, but do you know why? Because ADHD is, I think it's called an autism spectrum. It's on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
But you might be claiming ADHD when you're in
Guys, a whole other thing.
Let's
stop thinking ourselves. But also, like, on the thing of like talking to people, like, why is it that like, however much we've tried, like things have moved, what, like in this 2025, why is there a stigma still against mental health? Because we're able to like have these conversations a bit more openly, but it's still not where it needs to be, or even how it needs to be. I feel like now it's now it's the conversations are being had at a level that is, I think, comfortable. You get, because like just the surface of like nothing's like ADHD, because ADHD makes you be a bit quirky. You get, so you're happy to like diagnose yourself with like ADHD. And the TikTok girl said, "Oh my God, I have ADHD," or you're now saying like you're on the autism spectrum because maybe you don't like to talk to people. But it's like, sometimes you just have bad manners. It's fine. You get, and that's it. So like, but we're not really having the conversations, because I think first of all, in Uganda specifically, the first and foremost conversation we need to have is alcoholism.
Of course.
All of us.
Yeah.
We are moving alcoholics.
Because
it's not normal.
As a society.
All of us. It's not normal, the way that we're moving and the way that we're drinking and the way that we're consuming. Like, even if you see like the sales of all these alcohol brands, the sales to the ratio of the people, it does not make sense
at all.
You really shouldn't be drinking that much.
But let me alarm you even. So our consumption, we have like one of the highest in the world.
But we are such a small country.
For a small country, and our consumption is almost double of what should be that normal. Because the normal is supposed to be, I think, 6 liters. 6 liters per capita. We are almost at 12. I think 12.1. So Muriomo, every Ugandan accounts for 12 liters of alcohol.
You guys, that's wild. And now you have to consider in that the fact that half of our population,
but 12 liters is of I know
it's more than 12. You know why it's more than 12? Because in that population, you have to consider our highest number, the biggest number of our population is young people. So you have like 17-year-olds to one who we will assume and hope, it's not true, but we'll assume and hope that they are not the ones drinking. So you have the elder ones. Maybe the elderly are not the ones drinking. Then you have to remove Bagunywa, yes, but now I'm just saying, you get, hypothetically, then you remove of the Wasilam that don't drink, then you remove, like some people who don't drink. So which means, in true thingy, that number might be like at like 15, 16 liters per person who consumes alcohol.
Yeah, it's probably higher. And let me first make you laugh. Recently, when I was back in the other side of the world.
Guys, you need help.
When I was back in the other side of the world, one of the classes I did recently was on, I had to do a case study still on Uganda. And this very specifically, we had to discuss alcoholism. Banangi, I felt now like the guy who was leading that session is like one of the most well-known like people in addiction in on that side of the world. And he kept referring to Uganda. I kept wanting to go under the table, but I had to and do my research and present and say, actually, we will have a problem. Because what I going to do,
crazy.
But it's probably higher. Some people estimate that it's about, you're right, it's the estimate that he thought, and he said himself, it could probably be 16 liters.
Because you have to like remove all these other factors.
Yeah.
And it goes to like 16 liters per person who actually consumes alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, are you mad? Like, what is happening?
Yeah. But it's also because like was it you or I was discussing with someone? It was probably in that lecture as well or something. It was the thing with Uganda is there's alcohol for every income bracket.
Yes.
Even the one with no income,
Yes.
there's income.
Everyone,
there's alcohol for them.
and if there is not, they will create it.
Yeah.
You get. And I think, you guys, I don't want to like, because it's not even just that, like, it's being also like brewed and created like at that level. Even the bigger companies are targeting that person of, but why don't we have something for that person? Let's create something for that person. It's real capitalism. And at the end of the day, what is the problem? The patriarchy.
That one.
That is the real issue we have in the society.
Yeah.
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 At the end of the day, it is the patriarchy. Say it with me.
The
patriarchy. Yes.
Anyway, but no, for real, we real have an alcohol problem. And I think there was actually even a headline recently, like I think it was earlier this year in the New Vision, like did a story actually when they also published those figures.
Yeah,
like it's very, very, very bad.
No, but that's the thing is like,
and the thing is for me, it's like we are like we have high functioning alcoholism. And then we disguise it with vibes, like just
because
party after
we're
party.
disguising it as that. To be fair, like now I'm also going to be on this side, which I don't want to make excuses. I feel like it's not even a disguise, because the thing is we are so sad. We are so sad. We are so tired. We are so like we're in such a corner that's all we have.
So
like the vibes is the only escape that we have. Like we have nothing else. That's the only thing we can also control. You get that? Because whether you like it or not, our lives, we have no control over them. We have no control over our finances, because tomorrow you are going to wake up, your tax bill for that month, and you're like, but I have never made this amount of money in my life. How am I supposed to? You get the assessment, and you're like, but how? Even me, I wish I could be this. Like I could be able to. I could make this kind of money. You have that, so which means your finances, you're not in control of them. Of course, your love life. If you're a woman, nothing control. The streets have failed you. But to be fair, even men, but like still romantic relationships, streets have failed. What else is there?
You have no healthcare. You have no
healthcare. You have no social. You get. They are telling you save for who, for what? You don't know who's going to come and eat that money. Where that money is going to go? Where you're going to save? Where are you going to save it with? What? You get. They're telling you, oh, property. You have to do this. How? What property?
Anyway,
we're living here in this Uganda. It feels like you have to be making New York income for you to, you get land grabbers. So you have no control of anything. So that vibe is the only thing we can control. So that's why I feel like that is it. And however much we are, it's functioning alcoholism. I also can't I can't blame guys, because what else? If your money cannot solve your problems,
man,
that money.
Anyway, yesterday I was having with a discussion with that friend of ours, that mutual friend of ours that you know, and they wrote an article. We'll link it, I think, in the notes or something. And the article was called the article series was called The High Times. So they were telling me about how they interviewed like even like upper class, like middle upper class, like Ugandans, and like some of, because I haven't yet like read the entire article, like we've just seen it briefly. But like some of the challenges that they were dealing with, for example, like Bambi, everyone has their own set of problems, and they said Katiolaba, some of them, that those that he interviewed that were dealing with addiction issues, some of them were saying that they were lamenting to him and saying that for them, imagine you go to school, your parents have made all these investments in you, you go to school abroad or whatever, but your purpose, your destiny is to come back. They've panged for you a marriage,
the job, as in your entire life has been thinking down. Like you said, vibe, because that's the only thing you have. You have
no control over anything. So like everyone with their own set of problems.
So now you see there is those problems, and then there's the problem of this one who, however much I try, even if I look for that job, even if I do what. Like left, right, and center, just the world, the country is just beating you left, right, and center, and you're like, oh, why? Yeah, fudge. Kanenywele. So which means I think also it's like I think maybe the mental health, the drug abuse, the alcohol abuse, all of that is also of course an effect. Is it effect? Yes, an effect of like the society that we're living in.
Yeah.
It's not giving, guys.
Yeah.
It's really not giving. So something
It speaks to like the underlying there's a certain, I don't want to say unhappiness because we claim to be very happy people. We are
That's the
happy
thing.
people.
We are happy people despite all the other
in
things.
spite
So it's
of-
not like the underlying unhappiness. Maybe it's the underlying. It's not even
Disillusionment
It's really but I want to work and the only way they can get like a high or like something that's not like to make, also you want to forget your problems, guys. Like for just, but again, I think this is what we've been saying, like, and we keep saying is whether you like it or not, everything is political.
Yeah.
Every single thing is political because
Including your mental health.
including your mental health. Because if you think about it, all these underlying issues and problems and like effects to like why you're ending up in the situation where you're trying to create like the vibe is the only thing that you can go off of, is because man, every other thing has let you down.
Damn it.
Damn it.
We have problems, eh?
We really, really do have problems. But I think it's also, but again, other than just the political, okay, there's also political, but also, I mean, religion is also political. So there's also, of course, like the other reasons why we can't talk about mental health, which is
Like what?
religion, family, all these things of how are you going to tell people that you believe in God, but then also
Let me tell you, the thing is, I've had like sessions, like consultations with like some religious leaders on like how can we better understand mental health from
okay,
like
those
like
are
a
good
spiritual-
conversations to have.
spiritual or religious perspective. The thing is, that's why me, I don't like everything in our environment also is unregulated. Do you understand? For example, we have churches or spiritual places that are also unregulated. Yes, we have African traditional religion, whatever. But some say, okay, you would understand that those ones who is going to regulate sangomas, no one.
Yeah.
But like churches that are people just opening churches without understanding like theology, or they don't without studying theology, or they don't understand really what the different doctrines. But like Christianity, for example, and I'm sure even Islam caters for mental health.
100%. I don't remember thinking, but there's a hadith that definitely talks about mental health.
It caters for. There's so many, like for example, in the Bible, there's so many biblical characters that we refer to who are struggling with mental health issues, and like people who have studied theology. Like me, that's why I keep leaning towards like Catholicism more, because also to be fair, I've had like my upbringing, I've had like close contact with like discussions, like conversations with like priests, and like at least the ones that I know, not all of them, but like the ones that I know, they explain to you and they said like like Christianity or whatever, or like theology does cater for mental health because of the understanding of like what some of these biblical characters or stories in the Bible were supposed to represent or supposed to teach. But many of them were dealing with mental health things.
Yeah.
At your Muntunga Solomon. Anyway, that one is
a story for another
day.
No, but that's the thing. I think also it's like, again, things like religion, again, and I keep saying this, and like it might be that I think that maybe is a joke or whatever, but like again, it all comes down to like patriarchy and the way that things are interpreted to suit a certain narrative that is being pushed. Because even in Islam, like mental health is like mentioned in different hadiths where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was like, I think he was grieving at some point and things like that. Like mental health is something that is very real, but then you'll find that, oh, you can't talk about it because you're sad, you're this, like you can't put your business out there, but because of who? And the thing is, like, the more that we continue, because funny thing is, mental health, I don't know where I read the statistics, I'm sorry if it's wrong, but like it affects women more, but men are more suicidal than women. You get, which
no, the thing was, it's women report they report their mental health, like because they have higher health seeking behavior.
Yes.
So they are more willing
to report.
To report mental health. But men have more mental health problems.
Nah, you see. So which means, again, if you're having mental health problems, it's not manly. It's not very manly because it's weak. It's all of these things. But then, like, if you think about it, what is you suffering the manly thing? You get, again, why the patriarchy doesn't make sense. So even like religion, like a lot of these things have been interpreted to fit certain narratives.
Yeah.
And I think if your reason for not whatevering is because of religion, of like, oh yeah, I believe in God, he's going to like heal me, he's going to make things okay and stuff like that. But the thing is, God also helps people who help themselves. Like there's really no, like, I think it was the story of Noah and his son, who, when he was trying to get him on the ark, and then the son kept saying like, God will help me, God will help me. I think then a ship came, then he was like,
Noah built the ark.
Yes,
the ship,
the guy refused to come.
take it.
Then there was another ship that came, and then he was like, no, I really hope it's the right story. Then it's like, no, God is going to save me. So it was like, God is sending you all these lifelines, but you're not taking them because God is good. So what are you going to do? You get. So I don't think even God wants you to like hide the fact that you're sad or like you're suffering or whatever. Like, go and seek help, even if it's from, and I don't know how thingy, but like, if maybe the person that you trust is your religious counselor, maybe try and talk to them.
Yeah,
it might be dangerous. Because these religious counselors, also some of them are very thingy. But if that's the first person, talk to them and see what comes out of that. Then maybe talk to another person or another person. But I think we just, all like what you said anyway, all these things need to be regulated.
Yeah.
Because if religion and all these things are being regulated in a way that the information that you pass out has to be correct, and it can't be information that is harmful to people, then maybe we would have better.
No, because of our environment and the fact that we haven't made the investment into like the systems and the infrastructure, whatever, like including the people and stuff for mental health support. Like things like the problem is we have a very bad religion has perpetuated certain injustices or inequalities, including like mental health. But like you said, I would recommend, like, sometimes I tell people, who is your spiritual advisor in life? You go to them. Because now what are we going to do for you?
You get, if that's a person that you but because you get, like, go, if that's a person that you trust the most, then go to them. And we hope and pray that person is thinking enough to be like, you know what, maybe the help that you need is bigger than me. Maybe the help that you need, you're going to find it somewhere else. But also, it's just, I think it just brings out also down to like that statistic that you said of like men and men's mental health.
Men's mental health is a myth. Okay, I'm sorry to say, Bambi, it's not a myth, but it's
clarify what you're saying. I think the movement is a myth. I think the movement is not genuine.
The emphasis on saying
men's
mental health is kind of like disingenuous.
It's very disingenuous. It's very, very disingenuous. Honestly, I think,
it's
like I've said,
it's not an epidemic.
It's not. Like guys, saying, let's be serious. Like, is it really an epidemic? Okay, what is epidemic about it? You get?
The problem is men are just suffering at the hands of the system they created.
No, but exactly, 100%. But you see, the funny thing is that, you know how they always say, like, men suffer in silence. You guys have had that silence loudly.
Listen, if women
where is that silence? If we used to talk about our problems this much, god damn,
the whole world knows about the men's mental health epidemic because men suffer in silence. Unless in the
but how silent is it if I'm hearing it about 2 days?
In the shortest time possible.
No, but the thing is, I think the men's mental health thing. First of all, the mental health thing, and this is why for me, like, of course, like, men suffer all those things, but like right now, it's something that, please, I don't want to hear, is because it's around men not having free access to women, not being able to do whatever they want with women. Oh, women are not giving us a chance anymore. Men are lonely. What do you mean they are lonely? Call your friends. What do you mean you get, like, that's why I'm like,
we have no one to talk to.
We have no one to talk to.
When you go to sit together,
who do you talk to? You get, these are the things you were saying about emotional labor. You're just looking for the women to give you emotional labor. If it's not coming, if women are not working for you and existing from you, then it has become an epidemic. What what does that mean? What does that mean? And for me, and why I feel like it's so disingenuous is like every time I hear someone talking about like men's mental health, I tell them, talk about men's mental health without complaining that about what women don't give to you. Not that what they've done wrong.
Remove
the
women
problem.
from the entire equation. Just remove women
By
from
the way,
that entire equation.
you might not even remove them because even if I talk about women's mental health, I'm going to talk about all the egregious things that they be doing. You get the abuse, the assault, all those things. But if you're talking about like how you're being abused, assaulted, all those things, fine. But let's like you talk about it without what women have taken away from you, like their time, their emotional labor, their romantic feelings and whatever, and their companionship, or like talk about it in a way where it's like what is affecting you as you, what are the problems that you're feeling, like talk about your feelings, but don't talk about it of like, oh yeah, like guys are sad because women don't want to talk to them, they are lonely. What do you mean women don't want to talk to them, they are lonely?
Women have just decided to opt out of
actually out of the whole society. And they're like, I just backs out of this game.
Women have unsubscribed.
Click unsubscribe.
Like, I'm out of here. That's what's paining, guys.
Exactly. And the thing is, and having a conversation like that around mental health and focusing it on that is never going to help you as a man. You get like, it's not going to make you move forward. You get like, if you only bring quote unquote men's mental health in conversation where they're talking about women, or maybe like they're talking about like rape culture or abuse or domestic violence, and you're like, yeah, but men also suffer. They have, and you guys, and they love this statistic. Men have the highest suicide rates. Why do
men have the highest unaliving rates? Do you know why?
No.
The statistic actually is more women attempt suicide. But when a man attempts suicide, men, by nature of the environment that they've created, even for themselves, men are just violent.
So they'll have
a man when
will take pills, that man will shoot
himself. So for them, they go for the most violent means possible.
So it's
to end all suffering, and that's the same suffering that they inflict on other people around them. Because for them, it's always a final solution. For the men, it's always a final solution. That's why they have the highest suicide rates.
So it's not really Mbu, they're the only ones attempting. But the thing is also like, of course you're suffering if you're not willing to talk to your friends, you're not willing to talk to people. And I mean, from this whole conversation, all of us need to talk to people. But for you've decided the only people you're going to maybe even have a conversation with is the woman that you're romantically involved with. But even that woman, you're not even going to have like an honest conversation with them. You're going to have like a conversation that you're going to use to like maybe manipulate them and stuff like that. So of course, you're going to be lonely. Of course, you're going to be sad. And talk to your friends, talk to people.
And the funny thing is, men are I don't want to say very funny, but they are very weird. Because the same guys will say to each other and say to other people that when women say, oh, you're not spending enough time with me, then they say, for what? What are we going to talk about?
What are we going to talk about?
Then after that, you complain that that no one wants to listen to you. You have very many problems. Woe unto me. Woe yeah.
Every day it's woe for a very logical gender. They are really
logical gender.
They whine so much. Like, guys, stop whining. Anyways, so at the end of that day, guys, mental health is real. It's a real thing. We're all dealing with it as a country, actually. It's very critical. I think we are now in like emergency mode as a country when it comes to mental health.
No, I thought we haven't yet entered emergency mode. We haven't yet realized
we're drinking 16 liters of alcohol.
But the problem is that's for us our solution. That's what we've decided for now. That's what we've decided is a solution. You enter emergency mode. We haven't yet hit the code. We haven't yet started saying that the thing is actually serious. No, for us we're just we're still on vibes. We haven't yet hits the code in the hospital to hit the button of like
blue thing. Is it blue code blue?
They are different colors and different levels.
That one.
The problem is we are still enjoying as we are going. Life is still taking us.
That would mean the kids are not okay. The kids won't be okay if we continue like this.
The kids are not okay. That's why if we
continue like this, you guys,
with your family members and your community.
I guess, yeah, I think community is very key. And I think, man, let's talk to people. Talk to someone. If you need to get on that lady's couch, go on that lady's couch. If you need to talk to your friend, talk to your friends. Even, and this includes men very much, like talk to your friends. Like, go and discuss things with them. Tell them your feelings. Like, feelings they're not a bad thing. It's not an abuse.
I was watching Michelle Obama's podcast with her brother. And she said she was talking about how like her relationship with Barack and like how men don't talk to each other. And she was saying like the guy, he'll go on this is Barack. He will go on the golf course with his buddies. They've played Jukida. They played the whole day. Whole Mpozi Meka 18. The whole kumpi half the whole day.
He comes back.
He only comes with one message to pass on the Lugambo and says so and so is getting a divorce.
Why?
I don't know.
No details. What happened? How is he? How is he feeling? I think he's fine.
Nothing. But you've spent a whole day together.
So after he said so and so is getting a divorce, there was no follow up.
No follow up. Chocolate for her, she's asking.
She's asking for the details. How is he doing? Who initiated the divorce? Where is he going to stay?
Where is he living now? How are the children? Me. But they've been together the whole day. Then apparently, he would say. Then she said that for her, she finds her like she has like sometimes her girlfriends like visit her and they spend like a day, 2 days together. They sit and cry and laugh and like everything, and then he comes like he has gone to play golf. He finds them there still sitting there, and then he asks them, "You're still here? What are you talking about?"
What do you mean? They've cried, they've laughed,
they've everything. They know they've caught up to
all their lives. Like now, if you ask her about her friend, she can tell you every single thing.
All the emotional support. But for them, they've been together the whole day.
Nothing.
All they have is like the Lugambo one. So and so is getting a divorce.
No, and you know the funny thing is like, and I think we're always talking about this, and this is how like they decided to make like gossip about like such a taboo. It's like, oh my God, women are always gossiping, but it's not like, yeah, of course, gossip. Yeah, we all do gossip, but the thing is like, it's conversations. Like you need to have these conversations with your people. Yeah. Like talk about your entire lives. Like that's why you find a guy who's like, oh yeah, like I don't like my chick to go and tell my business to our business to her friends, but that's my business.
It's also my business.
It's also my business. How am I not allowed to tell to my people? You get like, who else am I going to speak to if I'm not talking to them about my life? Yeah. So again, and that's where like also those things of like you're lonely because you don't have people to talk to, you don't have people to laugh with.
Man. Anyway, it's change to men's mental health and men's mental health epidemic. We need to give it its own day.
Yeah, that one will give it. Also, another one I want to talk about that has started coming up is the boy child. But that one...
Here in Uganda, boy child.
But we'll talk about that one another day. Today, this is it for the podcast. We're done. But we've... I'm surprised at how much we had to talk about this. Because I was thinking, I was like, it will be like a shorter episode, perhaps. Clearly, we are suffering in this world. We're still going. But I think at the end of the day, the message is talk to someone.
Yeah.
Talk to someone. It doesn't matter if you're feeling sad. Your mental health, well-being and your mental health are both important. They're both equally important. So it doesn't matter if you're feeling sad. If you just feel like you're off, like your body is just off, your brain is just off, like you don't like, maybe when you're just... You can't get out of bed for like 2 days. You're just like feeling lazy or whatever. I mean, if you're a woman, it might be that you're about to get your period. So don't rush. Also, don't overrush.
Yeah, because because now we are learning that there are so many other underlying issues in the body, in the hormones, in the thyroid, in the what that can make you seem depressed.
When you're not. So just take that in mind. But still, either way, if you just feel like you're off and you're just not feeling like yourself, talk to someone. It's always important. There's always, like, if it's your friend, if it's your religious leader, if it's your parents, if it's, or even your general doctor, by the way.
Yeah.
If you have a doctor that you trust, that doctor that when you have like a rash, you text them, just text them and be like, hey, I'm feeling like this. Is it normal? I feel like it's not. What do you think I should do? But always talk to someone because your mental well-being and your mental health is very important.
It's very, very important. Yeah. We're not okay, but talking about it is a good start.
Yeah, and it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah, it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us again today and see you on the next one.
Peace out.